It is that time of day. It's the Morning Cryptos, and my name is Mark Shepard. This is day 135 of my 90-day challenge. I think we're on week 20, and I'm just going to grind through this, and we'll see where we end up a year from July 31st, which is when I started this project, to go deep into the Bitcoin rabbit hole, into the Bitcoin cryptoverse, into the world that is so strange and so bizarre that it is taking the world by storm. So let's get started. Whew, I don't know where to even begin. How about starting with the music? Okay. All right, so we are on day 135 of the Morning Cryptos, and I just wanted to, before I jump into the news, I wanted to recap a little, briefly, just very briefly, what I did yesterday, and my son did it as well. So I wanted to just show you where I got in, where he got in, where I got out, and where he got out. Just really quickly, I'm going to get rid of the volume here just for a moment so you can see. All right, Saturday. And this is a 1 hour chart just because it's easier. Saturday, we had a drop. Bitcoin had a little bit of a correction, and I got in right here. It looks just like a wick right now, but I got in to Bitcoin at a good price. I sold Quantums. Quantum was up against Bitcoin. So I was able to buy more Bitcoin with less Quantum. Right, I took 100 Quantum because I just wanted to try this. This is something I've been hearing about, something I've been thinking about, and I really hadn't had the opportunity to try it. So I wanted to really give it a full-blown test. Some people call it laddering. I call it cranking your crypto. Okay, that's what I'm calling it. So I got into Bitcoin here, and I noticed like not too long after that it went up and then it came back down again. I would have had a second chance. I could have done another 100 Quantum. You can actually do. You can do this a couple of times at the same time. So, but my son just, he got in much lower than I did. I mean, not much lower, but he got in below 13,000. And I'm so used to saying 1,300 that I keep in these videos misspeaking, and it's 13,000, which is freaking us all out. So he got in there, I got in here, we rode this puppy up, and then yesterday I saw that it kind of ran out of steam. It felt like it was, I was waiting a little bit to see if it would cross this barrier, but it didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm buying my Quantum back with my Bitcoin, and I was able to get 19 more Quantum than I had started with. So I bought back 119 Quantum. And my son couldn't do that because he was at work. By the time we got home, it was up here, and I was like, dude, pull the plug. So he pulled the trigger, pulled the plug, boom. And he did the same exact thing. He bought his Quantum back. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is to let you know this is something you can do. It's not something you need a college education to do. It's not something you need permission to do. It's something you can probably start doing pretty soon, but you may need to practice, right? And I'm just suggesting that you begin to be aware of how you can do this. So for me, that is how I'm managing the risk of being in Bitcoin, because it is so high that we all know it could fall really far, really fast if it decides to fall. And no one knows if it's going to fall or rise. I mean, really no one knows. It is a generally rising market. It is a new adoption of a new technology. So the likelihood that it's going to go backwards is less than the likelihood that it's going to go forward, right? However, the red and the green indicate that there's a difference of agreement in the market on that. And the question is, are you right? Or are they right? You don't know. So the question is, there is risk that you could be wrong and they could be right. So to manage that risk is what we're trying to do here. So we're only in Bitcoin when it has a significant pullback, right? And we get out of it as soon as we've reached some goal. For me, it was about 20%. And that's enough. I don't need to be greedy. I'd love to make 50%, 100%, but that requires more time and more ability to hang in there in that area of uncertainty. And frankly, I'd rather lock in my profits and keep growing my portfolio than go for the one big thing, right? Does that make sense? Cool. So with all that said, I'm going to point out one last thing, and that is we again have a little bit of a consolidation here. And what I'm seeing is a little bit of uncertainty in the market, just from the chart. I haven't looked at the news really. And that uncertainty slows it down a little bit and gives us a little time. And I think other people are saying, okay, where's this going to go? Is this going to consolidate here? Are we going to have some sideways action, or is it just going to keep boosting? So that's where we are with Bitcoin. No one knows really what's going to happen next, but the general consensus seems to be that it's going to make a run for 20,000, in which case I may have a chance to do this again, right? And if I do, I will. So that's that for that. That's enough of that. Let's look at the Bitcoin price. And I just refreshed this a second ago, but I'm a little OCD, so let's do it again. CoinDesk says no stopping after record high. Bitcoin price eyes 20,000. Fortune, Bitcoin just surged on futures trading. Here's how that actually works. I find Fortune magazine really annoying to look at, so I'll look at it when I'm not recording, just because they have ad crap. But maybe, you know what? Maybe the Brave browser will block Fortune's crappy ad stuff. Let's see. And ransomware, Bitcoin's problem, how price surge means a headache for crooks. Look at this. Fortune is loading without their dumb ads. Interesting. But it loads really slowly. There we go. The CBOE had to put halts amid the calm and the raging market. The price of the underlying asset itself, Bitcoin, surged as much as 26%. Yeah, it's going to be funky for them. But but here's the big deal. Bitcoin believers are more convinced than ever that the cryptocurrency is here to stay. Believers, Bitcoin believers, like that's spoken by someone who doesn't really know, who hasn't really accepted the fact that this is going to change the world, right? Meanwhile, the fear of missing out, FOMO, has also induced new faces to enter the arena, with major Bitcoin exchange Coinbase seeing about 300,000 more users between November 22nd and November 26th. So, demand, people, right? Demand. It's like they're not making any more land, and there's a limited supply of Bitcoin. And that is so different from the endless supply of paper money that has been printed. All right? So, that's my philosophy. That's a little bit of the hypnosis, buddy. Let's crank through these. I'm going to do a special on a couple of the altcoins. I want to do a special on TenX, Monaco, and a new one called Centra that Crypto Rocker told me about. Thank you, Crypto Rocker. I think it was Crypto Rocker, yeah. And I suck with names, and I get conflummoxed with that. So be patient with me. If I butcher your name, I will do the best I can to give credit where credit's due. And I still keep forgetting to give the awesome person who told me about Cardano props for letting me know about Cardano as well. So anyway, but I did respond to your comment. I'm working on it, people, and I do respond to these comments. Sometimes it takes me a little while. Sometimes I can get right on it. All right, Bitcoin Cash. That's a 1 hour chart. I got to take a pullback. Bitcoin Cash looks like it wants to break through this upper barrier that I have very imaginatively drawn. It just seemed like it was coming up here, boom, boom, boom. And again, it's doing this pattern, people, has made me money. This is the pattern that I was like, wow, I'm kind of good at this. And it is rising bottoms and tops that are kind of hanging all in the same place. And you can kind of see, I mean, we could put the line up here, but really the tops are kind of right in this area. And obviously it's kind of a general thing. It's not precise. It's not aircraft tolerances here. This is like a general, like, every time it goes up here, it seems to have some kind of invisible psychological barrier. And remember, people, do I have to remind you? This is the hypnosis of money. I'm curious as to why the human mind stops at these spots, right? There seems to be some deep unconscious sensing that we have. There's like, whoa, okay, I don't know if it's really worth more than that. I don't know. Oh, and then somebody else goes, yes, it is. And all of a sudden it just breaks and the crowd goes whoosh, right? And it looks like at the moment that could happen with Bitcoin Cash, and which basically means I'm in profit right now in this sucker, because I think I got in. I should have, I'm starting to keep track of where I'm getting in, but I wasn't. I was just kind of doing it. I got in somewhere down here. I might have gotten in lower, but I think I got in somewhere around here. So I'm in the money a little bit, not a ton of it. But if it boosts here, I'm going to do the same thing I did with Bitcoin. I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to buy some quantum with it, right? Or something else. We'll see. I haven't looked at quantum yet. All right, so that's, I think, a good spot. Let's quick look at the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin Cash. And people, Bitcoin Cash is not going anyplace. You can hate it if you think it's bad, but just like Ripple, like I was not paying any attention to Ripple because it was a centralized banking coin, and I despise banks. But I was like, you know what? I got to get off my freaking high horse, and I got to go. Oh, maybe I can make some money off the banks, right? I don't know. So I put a little on Ripple, and we'll talk about that later. But right now we are seeing Bitcoin Cash kind of go for it. Let's look at a 30-minute chart. Boom, boom, boom. See, we have rising bottoms, right? But right now we're testing. At this moment, we are literally testing this kind of line where this is as far as it's gone in, the last couple of weeks since, or last couple of days, really. This is a 30-minute chart. Ha. All right. So boosting. Don't get any now. Don't chase a rising market. That's rule number 1. Don't chase a rising market. We buy the dips, and we buy only good projects that look like they're going to be around next year, right? At a much higher price. All right, so let's keep going. Let's grind through this. Bitcoin Gold. What's that doing? Staying nicey between the linies. And Bitcoin Gold, same deal. Rising bottoms. Next time it comes back to this yellow line, you might want to get you some. I have a little bit. I'm not that crazy about it. We'll see where it goes and what it does. Dash. Dash is nice and high, and it looks like it is going to either test this new level or consolidate or go down, right? Those are the 3 things it can do. But right now, there seems to be energy in Dash, and it seems to want to rise. And it is a hell of a good project. And we'll see what happens. If Dash suddenly rises like crazy and people become hesitant to spend it, the same problem could happen to them, that it won't necessarily be the currency that they think it's going to be. Or, we'll see. It still might be quite manageable to use it to buy things with. So sweet. And I sold most of my Dash. I think I moved the rest of it over to Bittrex last night. I'm finding a little of a frustration with the Exodus wallet, because a lot of the times when I want to make a trade there for things that I only have there, like EOS, a lot of times I'm getting message temporarily unavailable, and that has to do with the Shapeshift exchange, not the Exodus wallet. But it's just I want to make my moves when I want to make them, so I'm beginning to be very comfortable over on Bittrex. It took me 3 months. Really, of kind of tentatively doing 1 or 2 things and then gradually increasing over there. So EOS against Ethereum, this is very interesting. EOS is really cranking. Let's look at EOS against the US dollar, which helps keep my brain. Okay, good. And EOS is my 2nd largest position. So theoretically, I could do the same thing here. I could sell some EOS into Ethereum or into Bitcoin, whichever one is in a better spot, or even Litecoin if it has a pullback, or something else. I could sell it into Quantum if it was available, but it's got to be something that's in my Exodus wallet, and it's got to be something, and it has to be available to do that. And we'll see. I haven't checked the exchange. I haven't checked. It's early in the morning, people. Sometimes my words get conflummoxed. I haven't checked the Exodus wallet yet to see if EOS is swappable. All right, now Ethereum broke out of its little trading range, and people, you will see this all the time, particularly in this rising bull market. It will rise and it will kind of consolidate and pause for a little bit, and then it's like this process is very important for people's minds to become accustomed to the new price. It's something we do. It's like the frog boiling method. You know, if you put the frog in and gradually warm the water, it doesn't really notice it, right? Until it's boiling and then it dies. But if you put the frog in a pot of boiling water, it'll jump right out. That's what's happening here. And it's also why we have become accustomed to the gradual erosion of the US dollar. Because if you compare the US dollar, what we can buy today, you used to be able to buy a really high quality pair of shoes with $1, right? And now our dollar is worth about 4 cents, supposedly. And the only reason we can buy shoes for less than $1,000 is because the shoe manufacturers have moved their operations to places where it's cheaper, right? So in essence, a lot of what's going on in the world that we think of as, you know, kind of in America, moving all our industry overseas, that was caused by the central bank, if you think about it, that made our dollars not buy as much here so we can buy more there, so people are looking to get the spread. And that's what we're literally doing here in the cryptos. You can go from one to the other and make money on the difference between the two different currencies. So that is literally, that process has been driving our economy for over 100 years now. And it's not working out that well. We have quadrillions and quadrillions of dollars of debt. Anyway, so Ethereum, I would not buy here because it's on a boost. But if and when it comes back, I would definitely do the same thing. I would basically sell some quantum and buy some Ethereum, particularly if it comes down to this bottom yellow line here. Ooh, look at that. My arrow, if I wiggle it, makes a big arrow. Oh, just discovered that. That's beginner's mind, people. Be delighted with little things. Be delighted with little dumb things that everybody else takes for granted. And as you discover them, enjoy the discovery, because we're all learning here. And that's what's great. We're all in kindergarten with cryptos. Crypto kindergarten. Welcome. IOTA. What's going on with IOTA? It's nice consolidating up here. Look at this. Some consolidation. It's hanging. It's holding. Cool. And I will get me some someday, somehow, somewhere. Litecoin is boosting. I would not buy here today. This would be a watch this, get in on any significant pullback. And, you know, we'll just keep watching it. NEO. I am still thinking this is NEO against Ethereum. People, look at the support here. We have massive. Oops, I want to get off the arrow. We have massive support here. Just solid support. Come on. What is going on here? There we go. I drew the line in the totally wrong place. All right, so let's try this again. And you can laugh at me if you want. What? Okay, let's try this again. Oh, it's whenever I try to draw a line from before something begins, it won't let me. Okay, I've done that before. All right, so come on. There we go. So I'm on Ethereum. We have double tops. It's a little bit different from the rising bottom scenario, but the double tops and the sideways trading range kind of act the same way. And you can move this a little tighter if you want. That works right there. So it's moving between this channel, which is somewhat narrow, and it's at the bottom of the channel. This is a buy signal for NEO. So today, I might sell some quantum and buy more NEO. Maybe 100 quantum and pop it into the NEO at this lower spot, because I'm going to have to buy Ethereum first and then use Ethereum to buy the NEO over on the exchange. So interesting. Now let's look at NEO against the US dollar. It looks very different. It's kind of up against the US dollar. It's just down against Ethereum. So Quantum to Ethereum and then possibly Ethereum into NEO might be a good move. So I'm going to write that down. And I have these 3x5 cards. And so Qtum to Ethereum to NEO. That's looking like a move. And remember, people, sell high, buy low, sell high. Right? And so NEO is looking pretty good. It's a good project, people. It's not a project that maybe I would hold for years, but it's a good project, and it's well respected. And check it out. Go look at their website. You know, I want to do a couple of specials. I want to compare NEO, Quantum, and EOS, and I want to compare Monaco, TenX, and Centra, I think, which are 3 cards, and there may be some other cards. I want to just kind of compare some of these ones that are kind of in the same area, because eventually one or the other is going to dominate. And my money right now is on Quantum and EOS. However, I can still ride NEO and make money from it. Omise Go against the US dollar. Omise Go is doing pretty well here. Climbing up, and we have a double top here, and it just kind of kissed that a little bit earlier today. Let's look at a 1-hour chart. I moved all my Omise Go over to Bittrex so I could do stuff with it, right? So this week is really me more and more being comfortable on Bittrex, trying different things, practicing, moving most of my portfolio over there so that I can go in and out of things much easier. So hopefully you guys are watching, and if this is new for you, just keep watching this stuff. I'm trying to do my best to explain stuff as I learn it, because I find the beginner's mind helps me to teach better, and also teaching it helps me to learn it, as I've said before. So Omise Go is looking sweet, and we have a little tiny, sell-off here, but and I will be watching it. I might want to take some profit in Omise Go. We'll see. Quantum against the US dollar. And so what I did, I basically sold Quantum Saturday the 9th. I think I sold Quantum. Where's my arrow? I sold it here to buy Bitcoin. Then I bought it. I ended up buying it back about here. So not an exact thing, but I didn't lose much, right? I sold it here, and it literally went down. And then as it was coming back up, I got back in. Boom. And now I have profits up here, right? So this is now my 119 extra Quantum. My 19 extra Quantum is there. So I'm liking it. I would like Quantum to go to 15. That would be nice. I'm definitely planning on taking some profits there and seeing what I can do with them. But most of my position, I'm going to hang on, because I think Quantum's going into the $30, $40, $50, $100 range in the next 12 to 18 months. So I'm going to kind of use some Quantum, but keep most of it. That's my plan right now. And just remember, plans are open to change depending on what's going on in the field, right? The general doesn't stick to his plan if the battle goes in a very different way than he expected or anticipated. But if you study Napoleon, he anticipated everything, and so he had so many multiple plans in his mind that he could react to anything, and he trained his core to be able to be somewhat autonomous as well, and to react and respond to changing conditions. So that's the thing we want to train our minds, is to not take anything personally, right? To get the emotion out of it and to go, okay, this isn't what I wanted to happen. It's not what I expected to happen, but how can I use it, or how can I learn from it, or how can I utilize it in some shape or form, and how can I benefit from it somehow? And that opens your mind to a creative response to all challenges, because the difference between optimists and pessimists is that when things get tough, the pessimists fall apart. The optimists hang in there and do the best they can to come back another day, right? The pessimists take it personally and they get broken. And I personally am someone who was definitely a pessimist, and it's a continuous practice for me when things go against me to not take it personally, particularly in my music, and to just move forward, right? So this, again, people, is the hypnosis of money, and this is a wonderful place to practice honing your spirit, right, against a worthy adversary, the market, right? Some spiritual stuff there for you, but not religious. Spiritual, but not religious. Okay, we're on the 1 hour chart. Let's go back to a 1 day chart. And I totally didn't talk about Monero because I was flapping my gums. I'll go back to it in a second. But now we're on Ripple, XMR. Oh, okay. So we are up to this line, right? And the question is, if it boosts above this line, I'm going to take profits. If it just keeps farting around in between these lines, when it comes back, I will add to my position, right? That's my plan here, all right? So Ripple, nice sideways trading range. And it's actually XRP, which is the token of Ripple. It's not actually Ripple, just so you know. Ripple it's a whole separate thing, and that's what the banks are using. They're not using XRP because it's too volatile for them. And the banks are using this project to move funds out of fiat into the blockchain, back into fiat. So like Mary goes to the Bank of America, she has her little app, she goes, I want to send money to Bobby, and she hits send and it goes instant, but that's what's happening, right? So, and somehow they're managing to do it very cheaply, just because they have the ability to do, millions of transactions a second, and the banks are signing on. So, okay, let's go back to Monero. Sorry about that, guys. I get deep. I go deep. I'm in a trance when I do this, and just waking up too. All right, XMR Monero on the 1 day chart. People, this on any pullback, I'm getting right back into it. And I'm not going to be too fussy, because I think Monero is going to be a go-to place for the people of the world. They used to go to Switzerland. They're going to go to Monero, right? They may go to some of the other privacy coins. So I may do a comparison between the three main privacy coins. I think Monero is at Pivx. I haven't even checked out Pivx. I've just heard of it, and I may be wrong on that, so don't quote me. And Dash, because Dash has a privacy ability as well. So going to check that out. Don't chase this, people. I would not put money into XMR today. But the next pullback, if it comes down, gotta get off the arrows here. Come on, trend line. See if I can, if it comes back here to any of these levels, I would get some more Monero. But again, I'd like to see a pretty good pullback. Right? We want to buy the dips, people. That's our whole trader's mentality, which is different from the retail customers. Like, oh my God, it's going up. I got to get some. Right? And I'm so proud of my son, because when he first started, he was like, oh, I got to get some Bitcoin. It's going up. I got to get some. I said, dude, just relax. It's coming back. Boom, it came back. And he saw, oh, it comes back. Once you see that, it's not that big a deal. It's like you can cross the street, even though it's dangerous, right? You can cross the street. You've learned how to do it. You can ride a bike. Whatever. There's lots of things we do every day that could be dangerous if you didn't know what you're doing. But once you learn about it, once you learn about the ecosystem, about what's going on in the forest, what to avoid, what to embrace, you have some power, right? So, whew, I should just stop now because that's enough. That's enough. But there's so much more. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot more. I'm going to just rip right through them because this is what I do. I just look at them very quickly. This is Cardano, ADA against Bitcoin. Interesting. Against Ethereum. ADA against Ethereum, which just has this horrible little freaking chart. It's down against Ethereum. So that might be something else to buy if you have some Ethereum and you want to buy low. This is a good project. It's by real people. It's a third generation blockchain and smart contracts and all that kind of stuff. We'll see. I don't think the name is that good, but whatever. Let's go to back to the 1-day chart. And we are looking at basic attention token. And again, get yourself the Brave browser, people, and check it out and check out the monetizing thing in it. And I'll do a whole special on that, I promise you, at some point. Good time to get into some basic attention token. Right now, we have rising bottoms, bloop, 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 and we have some pretty good tops, and we have a fairly good range of it. I'll call that tops, and I'm just going to get rid of the volume. I keep an eye on the volume, but volume is not the thing that I always look at. I mean, I make sure that there's some volume, and I only do projects that are pretty well, accepted as valid projects. So I don't worry too much about the volume, but sometimes there's things you can learn about it, and maybe that's the next step in my training, my self-education here. So we have rising bottoms and basic attention token, and we have a pretty good little ceiling here to push against. So, and it's fairly close down to this yellow line at the bottom. So that's an entry point as far as I see it. So let's go back to the next. Keep going. I want to grind through these, get done. Civic. Again, Civic is down at support, and it's holding up. So that's Civic against Bitcoin, sorry. And here's Civic against Ethereum. We've got these long wicks, and it's kind of pulling in. Not a bad time to get into Civic. Ethereum against Bitcoin, just for laughs and giggles. Not bad. It's starting to rise against Bitcoin. Interesting. And Monaco against Bitcoin. I would say that this might be a decent place to get into Monaco because we're at support. We have significantly rising bottoms, and it's a good project, and they're getting going. So I don't see them going back. You know what I mean? And I will do. I may do it today. Project. Monaco, TenX, and Centra, and if there are any other projects that issue a card that works on the Visa network. And the idea is basically that you can pop your Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever into this card, take it with you, use it at the gas pump, use it anywhere you want to go, and we'll see if people actually do it. That's the next thing. It might be still too early for people to actually use their crypto. We'll see. Omise Go against Bitcoin, and Omise Go against Ethereum. So like if, for example, Omise Go is really boosting here against Bitcoin, I'll be like, okay, well, sell me some Omise Go and get Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was on a pullback or a sideways moment, a pause, right? So again, I'm constantly thinking about this new technique and how I can use it. And here's Omise Go against Ethereum. I might buy some more Omise Go. We'll see. Yeah. 10X. And again, this is a card. And their symbol is pay. Right? I like it. Good entry point in 10X, people. I'm kind of thinking 10X might be the better entry point. We have a nice solid little double bottom here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tops. And when people stop obsessing about Bitcoin for a minute, they're going to look here and they go, wow, that's a buy. This is a buy. Auga, auga, auga. So I might do some quantum to Ethereum and then some Neo and some TenX. Because I think TenX is going to pop. And again, I may wait till after I do my little research and my little program on it, but looking good. Okay. Hang with me, people. We're almost done. Thank you for your patience. And I want to give you the real deal because this is where you could make money. So I don't want to hear that, oh, your videos are too long. And I'm not hearing that from anybody, really. And I really appreciate you guys. But sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm making them too long. But I really want to give you good value. And this just works better for me than trying to do something live. And so if I really have awkward weirdness, I can edit it out. And because it is early in the morning. And doing live is just too much pressure that early. So, quantum against Bitcoin, what I'm liking is that it's holding. It's kind of really holding its own against Bitcoin right now. That's pretty cool. So if Bitcoin does have a big pullback at any time today, I might just do my little thing again that I just did. My thing. My crypto cranking. Let's look at quantum against Ethereum. Interesting. It's down against Ethereum. Not that much, but a little bit. Okay. Good to know. Salt. Okay. I might get back into salt. I sold all my salt. And particularly if it comes any farther below this line today, I'm going to keep an eye on it. Anything below this line is a buy for me. Because I sold it, and now I want to buy it back at the same or lower price. Cool. So I'm adding that to my list. SWALT. S-A-W-L-T. SWALT. Okay. We're almost done, people. Cranking through. And this is what I do all day, but I go through it a lot faster and I don't talk. So it takes less time when I'm doing it by myself. But I wanted to make sure I'm giving you guys value. Why don't you get some value? Coin, again, we have a nice little sideways trading range. If Coin comes back down anywhere significantly in the sideways range, I'm going to get me some. But right now, it's a little bit above where I want to get in. That's all. And I think Coin is the cloud storage on the blockchain. I think that's what that is. I get them all mixed up. And we have NEM. I forget what NEM does. But I will double check it. Not really a buy signal yet for me on NEM. I want to see either more of a sideways consolidation here, or I want to see it go down. Although on the 1 hour chart, maybe not a bad place, because we have gently rising bottoms. And we have gently rising tops. So yeah, this might be a possible buy here. It might not be the lowest you can get it, but it might be a good place if you are into NEM. And I've got a little of it, and I've got to learn more about it, but that's it. That's it, people. You made it. You made it through. And this is just my watch list. There are 1,000 more of these altcoins, and some of them are really good. And no one human can get in and profit from all of them. So I beg you, I plead with you to start small. If you're going to do any of this stuff, start small and play enough to get your feet wet and to learn the skills necessary to do this well. And it's worth stealing some time from other stuff. It's worth becoming positively and healthfully obsessed with this. And don't just listen to me. Also watch some other people. I highly recommend DataDash, and I highly recommend Crypto Grinders. They each have their own style, and I think you can learn from all of us as I'm learning from them and applying what they're saying. And also, I have a whole team of people, and we're working with each other and helping each other learn these skills. And I'm trying to share that with you guys. in a way that is hopefully accessible and useful. All right, so that's it for today. If you like this, please give me that thumbs up thing. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and ring that little bell so that you get notifications. And I will keep sharing as transparently as I can what I'm learning and how I'm applying what I've learned in ways that hopefully you can duplicate in your own way with your own style at your own time, because ultimately this is not me handing you a fish. This is not me saying do this or do that. Buy low, sell high, buy it back low again, right? None of that stuff is to be construed as advice, because I live in the USSA and everything's illegal here. But you're on your own. But you have my support and my encouragement, and I want to hear from you. Leave comments below. If you like this, you might like my Better Man project. Also, check out some of my Crypto Cranker specials, which I'm trying to do one almost every day. Those are short. But the Morning Cryptos is kind of the anchor. And what's going on in the market? This is real time. And hopefully I can get this up to you while it's still relevant. And I think that's it. I think we've done the business. Oh, check below the videos. I have all kinds of links. And my new CD is there. It's not really a CD. You can download it. And I'm waiting for it to be published on Amazon.com, and I have to check into that today too. I just forgot about that. I got distracted with the cryptos. Forgot about my CD, right? I made it. I recorded it. That's all I should have to do. Huh? Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you very much, and let's do it. Let's start the music. I'll see you tomorrow.